Let's talk about hypocrisy dressed up as policy. On one hand, we have Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defending a second U.S. strike on a Venezuelan boat, a strike that killed survivors of the first blast. Justified under the so-called fog of war, lawmakers are already probing whether this double tap amounts to a war crime. And on the other hand, we have Donald Trump pardoning former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez. That's not a contradiction, it's a moral collapse. Trump's pardon freed Hernandez from a 45-year sentence handed down in New York federal court. Prosecutors described him as the centerpiece of one of the largest and most violent drug trafficking gangs in the world, yet Trump called the trial a witch hunt and claimed Hernandez was treated very harshly and unfairly. Meanwhile, Venezuelan fishermen and alleged smugglers are being blown out of the water, with survivors killed in follow-up strikes. The message is clear. If you're a political ally, you get mercy. If you're a poor sailor in the Caribbean, you get missiles. The hypocrisy is not just about optics. It has real consequences for human rights and international law. Targeting survivors of an initial strike violates the Geneva Convention's protections against summary execution. Pardoning a convicted narco president undermines the credibility of U.S. drug enforcement. Together, these actions send a chilling signal. Justice is selective, violence is normalized, and accountability is optional. Enter Senator Mark Kelly, who has blasted Trump and Hegseth amid a Pentagon probe that threatens to recall him to active duty for court-martial. Kelly's crime, reminding service members that they are obligated to refuse unlawful orders. Trump branded this seditious behavior and even promoted calls for executions. Think about that. A decorated veteran urging troops to uphold the Constitution is investigated, while a president pardons a drug kingpin and a defense secretary defends strikes that may constitute war crimes. The consequences ripple outward. For Venezuela, these strikes deepen hostility and risk escalation into open conflict. For Honduras, the pardon emboldens corrupt elites and undermines democratic accountability. For the United States, it erodes moral authority, making it harder to claim leadership on human rights abroad. And for ordinary people, the families of those killed at sea, the communities devastated by illegal drug trafficking, the message is devastating. Their lives are expendable in the theater of political gamesmanship. So here's the wackadoodle takeaway. Trump pardons a man who smuggled hundreds of tons of illegal drugs while authorizing strikes that kill alleged smugglers at sea. Pete Hegseth calls it lethality. Trump calls it a miracle. Mark Kelly calls it what it is, unlawful orders. And history will call it something else: crimes and acts against humanity.